Hello, everybody. You remember these two guys?
We're back.
The guys that don't talk a lot when they're on video? Well, I'm going to see if I can get them to talk a lot today.
You have to ask us questions.
That's right. They only respond if you ask them specific questions. But no, anyway, I know that a lot of people have been asking to get these guys to talk about their experiences when we were on the Alaska trip, because I've been giving all of mine. In particular, I know that there's a lot of interest in how their bikes did. Right, and I told you that all the bikes did great, but we might get them to, I guess, elaborate a little bit about each of their bikes. And let's hear it from them. Mm-hmm. So who wants to start?
Sure, I'll start.
All right. So, speak up.
So the Ducati was amazing. No, it did remarkably well. We had one day in the campground where it was a little tough to get started. And other than that, it went well. We were talking this morning. I think one of the interesting things, because it happened again last night, if I cover the bike, it has a hard time starting in the morning. If I leave it uncovered, it starts right up. So
condensation,
maybe it holds the moisture in, and I don't know. So I'm not going to cover it anymore. But yeah, one day where it was a little tough to get started, but we waited 10 minutes and kicked over, and it was fine. I did meet the guy over in Denali Park whose son races Ducatis, and he was taking video of my bike to send to his son because he was amazed I rode it up to Alaska. And his son races these professionally. Yeah, no, the bike was great. Tires held up reasonably well. I'm still getting the last few miles out of the Heidenau. So I got 6,500 miles out of a rear tire, and it looks like I'm going to put a new rear on, and the front will go another 65. So it was pretty good $500 investment. But
how about for comfort, things like that?
Yeah,
you had no problems with it?
Yeah, no, it was very comfortable. We didn't have any trouble with it at all. Right. It's good for plenty of storage. The bags on that bike are gigantic. The electronics all work great. The Enduro mode is really nice when you're off-road, because otherwise it's way too twitchy if you leave it in sport mode or touring mode. Right? It's just way too much power, and every time you touch the throttle, the back tire wants a brake. So if you knock it down to Enduro mode, which is basically where I ran it all day today, and it did well.
Get it down to about the same level that my bike is.
Yeah, well, it's a racing engine, right, on a street bike. It's kind of comical, but it sure is fun. It was great passing the trailer trucks, right? Did that really well.
Right. I think Steve had the record for the speed passing the trucks. I know I hit 105. I think Peter hit something around the same, and I think he did 108 or faster.
Yeah, 100, 110, 111.
Oh, see? He just didn't tell us about that.
I didn't want to brag, you know.
All right.
So overall, great bike. Very comfortable. Performed well. It did everything I wanted it to do. So it's a lot of fun. Glad I bought it.
All right, excellent. Cool. And Peter, your Tiger.
I love it. It was the right bike for me. I'm short in stature, so the Tiger 800 was a little bit smaller, I guess, than some of these bigger bikes, the Ducati and the Super Tenere and the GS 1200. So it worked well for me. I lowered it a bit, which did present some problems initially.
If you want to keep your license plate.
That too, but we'll get to that in a second. I had to get an adjustable kickstand and cut down the center stand and so on and so forth. But I added some Roxy risers to make it more comfortable, an air hawk seat. Performance-wise, I mean, the thing, it's a street triple, basically a street triple engine. It's been bought out, so it lacks for nothing when it comes to performance. The throttle's a bit twitchy, and so when you get on the back roads and you get onto the gravel and stuff like that, especially when you're standing up, I mean, it's like it wants to bounce. So I ended up I don't have the electronic cruise control and stuff like that, so I put this thing called a Kaoko throttle like lock on it, and it's a friction lock, and it works great. Not only is for like taking some pressure off your wrist on the highway or using it as cruise control, but it's phenomenal on the dirt roads where it's just not going to bounce. You just kind of lock it in and just kind of let it cruise along. So that was really helpful. I did lose my rear reflector. I had a really good bump. I can't remember what, we were in like Yukon or in BC or something, but we were flying, and I had a really good dip, and pretty much maxed out my rear suspension, and the knobbies there, the Mitas EO7s grabbed, I guess, the bolts on the back of this little bracket that was hanging off my license plate, which has a tiny little reflector on it. 3 actually, 2 on the side, and it ripped it up into the wheel well, slammed it around a few times, and spit it back out. And Steve was like, "Hey, there's like shit coming off your bike. Oops, there's like parts coming off your bike." I was like, "What?" I mean, I know I had hit it hard, but I didn't realize things were coming off.
Lucky you didn't do any damage.
Very lucky. It did punch a little hole in the bottom of the fender well, but it was just like a crack. Not worried about it. And what else did it do? Oh yeah, it just scuffed up the muffler and a few things. It missed all the important stuff, like the
brake lines,
the anti-lock brake lines, the brake line itself, and so on and so forth, that run side by side along the swing arm. So, let's see what else. Plenty of space. When I got the SW Motec Treks. Okay. Here's a piece of advice. If you're going to buy a Tiger, Triumph Tiger, the first thing you want to do is go out and buy a new windscreen. I thought it would be okay. Ask these guys. It wasn't okay. Every hour or two when we'd stop, I spent 10 minutes cleaning the bugs in the mud off my visor of my helmet. Not to mention the fact that there's a lot of wind noise and turbulence on your head. Big mistake.
It's like most motorcycles, right? The stock windshield on most bikes isn't good, right? Yep. Same thing with the Victories, right?
Right. I changed mine, and it made a big difference.
Yeah, I did the same thing on my Vision.
It's like exhaust systems. You just can't keep the stock ones.
So, yeah, I did a lot of research. It came down to the Madstad. They do a phenomenal job. The thing is rock solid. Get the extra brackets if you're going to be doing any off-road. It's adjustable, and it's just great. You can adjust the angle and the height very easily. And again, it's rock solid compared to the stock one, which has got basically plastic brackets that hold it in place. So,
and the tint on that looks really nice.
Yeah, and I got the tinted one, so it makes it look cool.
It does.
But yeah, all in all, very happy with the bike.
Well, good. Well, like I said, they all did great. I mean, all 3 of the bikes made it up there. There was some questions whether they were all going to make it or not, but I knew that they would.
We did a good amount of Ducati bashing, but
we did. But
all in all,
in fun. But no, they all did great. Nobody had a problem, and Steve could have walked away from us anytime he wanted to, but he didn't. And we all got there at the same time and got home at the same time. So.